And now I'll go through the flip chart and show you the links to Bob. Now the flip charts are going to be good. There's a lot of flip charts, but the advantage of them is I can move them up closer. But the advantage is that the information is all right there. You can see it right away, and then we'll just move on. Okay? So here are the 9 sciences that we're gonna be dealing with. And like I said, I gotta turn my back to you, and I apologize. I'm gonna put this back here. Okay? And now we're at the birth juncture, 1894. So I'll show the name. So this is the birth juncture. Okay, 1894. So what happened when Baba was born? Wow, what happened when Baba was born? First airplane. History book says Wright brothers, right? 1903? No way. Hiram Maxwell flew a plane in 1894. First airplane was 1894 when the Avatar was born. Okay? Not the Wright brothers. There were other things happening in the aeronautical field too. I'm not going to go into details about it. Gliders being built, little model planes being built. There was a manual, a little treatise on flying, written in 1894 that inspired the Wright brothers. So basically, the birth of aviation was when Baba was born, 1894.
And he needed to come here somehow.
Yeah, 1894. Okay? And like I said, Maynard, what came to me real clearly is that Baba had the infrastructure built to a certain point, then he came. Not 100 years before, but when it was built up, then he came. And what happened during his advent is just amazing. Almost said it happened. I mean, it's just amazing. Baba, my favorite subject. I mean, seriously, I can talk about MeherBaba all day long. I'm not kidding. All day long. And if I'm not working, and where I deal with kids and all the stuff, I'm probably thinking about Baba 75% or 90% of the time. I don't mean, like him feeding the mush and all that. I'm talking about, this kind of stuff he does in the world. It's just, I'm always thinking.
Well, you're bringing that to the children, though, too.
Oh, I know that. I'm vibrating it to them.
You totally are it.
I'm vibrating it to them. They don't know it, but okay. Okay.
I mean, Baba said, what is it? Peruse. We become the peruse when we go out into society.
Absolutely. So this car was built around 1894. So the auto industry began in 1894. And here Baba was born. This car was built in 18. It was a Benz Velo from 1894.
So it wasn't the Ford Brothers, it was something else?
Ford, he was building cars around this time. It was called a quadricycle, and it kind of looked like that. But when Ford began manufacturing cars, like for the assembly line, 1914 hit a junction. It just happens all the time. It just happens all the time. Okay? So now we're going to get off of this one. Let's see what's next. Well, I'll just go to this one. That'd be a good one. Okay? This would be a really good picture to go to right now. So even though the car industry began in 1894, it didn't really kick in until later. So this picture is from 1907, Mayor's birth. So you can see the car starting to show up in around 1907. You see them? So around 1907 is when you start seeing cars kind of really coming into the mainstream. It's real. But this is around Mayor's birth, okay? Also, the music industry commenced in 1894 with gramophones, the flat disc, around 1894. Cole Porter, born 1893. Beginning 1893. High-speed photography was pioneered in 1894. The first telephone link between New York City and Chicago, 1894. And we think of television as coming about like in the 30s or something like that. The beginnings of television science was in 1890. They were sending pictures through the wires in 1894. So television began in 1890.
And these are about communication.
All about communication. All about communication. Okay? Now, to make the flip charts, I cut tons of material away, which is my point to do it. So now we're going to jump to the next junction, which is 1914, which is the realization junction. Okay? And let me see, no, I don't think I have any pictures for that. But realization juncture, there we go, Debbie. Henry Ford assembly line for the Model T, it's the realization juncture. Right on track. Happens all the time. You just, after a while, you just say, oh my God. Okay? The punch card machine came out around this time. 78 records, went real fast and played the 78s, 1914. Robert Goddard began rocket testing, and I have a photo of that, Robert Goddard. Right here. Sorry for all the steps you have to take, but I don't know. And here's Robert Goddard. And where it really began as rocket testing in a really determined way was around the first juncture, 1914.
That guy looks like he's about to hop on it.
Yeah, here's Robert Goddard right here. And basically, all the rocket technology that's in the world, including today, with the space shuttles and the rockets, the probes that go to different planets and everything like that, it's the same technology that he pioneered in 1914. That same technology.
And where's he from?
He was from Massachusetts originally, but where he settled to do his research for like the last 20 years of his life was Roswell, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, is there any synchronicity at that time in other parts of the world when this was being also waved in?
Could be, it could be, but Robert Goddard will appear in other charts with major events that he did that line up with the junctures.
Oh, okay.
The junctures just keep lining up. So let me, I'm going to flip this now. I'm at 22. This is when Bob's Advent started. Yeah, I know. This literally
This should be a weekend seminar.
It could be a weekend seminar.
Great. Yeah.
I was thinking that. I said, you know what? You know what Ward Parks does? I could do that.
Yeah.
I could have a whole weekend seminar. I could do that, you know.
Well, that's what I'm getting. I mean, it's fascinating.
Yeah. And see what I really started getting from all this is feeling Barbara's presence in it, you know? It's more than, it's more than just statistics and data. It's the avatar at work. It's God at work, you know? And that really started coming through to the point where, like, when I read about stuff like this, I can get a hit from it the way I do when I read Lord Mayor.
Well, we're getting that with you.
Yeah, and the point that what I really like to say too is, like, I know I'm giving a lot of head data, but also feel it with your heart. If you feel it with your heart, you feel, you know, Baba's changing the world through all this, then it's more than just information. It's God at work. That's all I can say is God at work. You know? Okay, so by 1922 is when the airline industry basically started up. Auto industry tremendously expanded. The Rocket Interplanetary Space was a great book that was written around the same time period. Telephone industry expanded, and radio, TV, and blew Paris. The point I want to make about this, if you heard about the Roaring 20s,
yeah.
About the Roaring 20s, it's just amazing how many technologies really took off right around this time. Telephone industry, just like recording industry, auto industry, airline, all these things really blossomed and bloomed around this time period. And I haven't even gone into the other stuff over here. That's 22.
And then when did the Great Depression happen? And it was 1929?
About 29, yeah.
Because
2 years. About 2 years.
31 is a juncture there. 25 and 31.
So now we go to the silence juncture, which is
that would be in the phase.
the most important. See, the flip chart, I mean, everything is being reduced to just bullet points. You know, so even though you can see it, it's clear, so rather than be talking, it's just bullet point. Okay? Silence juncture, paramount. First round the world airplane flight, right around this time. Around the world. 35 millimeter cameras came into being. All these wonderful pictures of Baba. Most of them were taken with 35 millimeter cameras. In fact, Baba gave Padre a 35 millimeter camera. And that was a huge improvement on the previous versions of cameras. So we have the 35 millimeter camera to thank for the beautiful print we have of the Avatar. It was tremendous, way more.
What was the camera that, the Brownie camera, so what did mine use?
Old stuff. That was older stuff.
That was the
older stuff. But by 35 millimeter, that's what Baba gave Padre a gift of that. Then the resolution is clearer, you can take them faster. There's more detail in the photo. It's just a whole different generation of camera that came around. Actually, it came out in 1925.
And the Brown was older than that? I thought it was in the 50s.
No. I think the Brownie. Maybe we're talking about different. We're talking about the Codec Brownie.
The little
big thing. I don't know. I think that went further back than this. But maybe it was the same name for a different product. Okay. Once again, the first liquid fuel rocket. Once again, back to Goddard. He did it. And that was a huge improvement, happened right at this time. Using telegraphy, teletyping began, 25. Radio telephone, 25. And Bell, this is what I find fascinating. Bell Labs transmits the first movie on July 10th, 1925. That was TV science.
And was it a science film?
Yeah, they had to be. They were pretty Yeah, there's a whole section I have about silence in the film world. And if I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. I'm not trying to rush through and, I'd rather just present it and whatever comes out, that's what comes out. Okay? The Western 1 juncture right here, when we first came to the West. Okay? Next stage of airline industry. That's when the all-metal planes started coming out with the multi-engines. Happened right around this time. The next generation of plane, right around this time. First analog computer, first stereophonic recording, telegraphy gave us telex, all 5 continents linked by radio telephone by this time, and the kinetoscope was invented, which basically made TV technology possible. That was a huge important event that came around this time too. Okay? You can move on. Like I said, this is, by the charts, you have like pages and pages and pages of information reduced to like bullet points. Well, it's a lot, but it goes really fast this way. Okay, USC is the Universal Spiritual Center, and Bob established that in Bangalore. That was December 17th, 1939. And I had a chance to go there. Yeah. In fact, I went there after Ramakrishna's vision, where he was walking on the site. When he walked there, when Ramakrishna went there, the area was in disuse. It was in disuse. And he saw a vision of Baba, literally. He saw Baba like this, like in a vision. And what he saw, he said Baba was wearing like a rust-colored coat. Like about that color that you see from the God of Science background, about that colored coat. And later, it came out that Baba was wearing a rust-colored coat for the inauguration of the Universal Spiritual Center. And he probably never wore it again.
And that was of healing centers there that were unbelievable. I mean, Fred, you've read about that. For the herd of heart. The this and that, all that everybody talks about and is using now, it's healing methods. What are the other names of the rooms? Harry?
What's that?
Well, the healing. Like it's a healing center where there would be, people helping people who were like low of heart, and then there was this, and there were like 6 or 7.
There were 6.
6. Okay, so what were they?
Oh, I don't remember the 6.
Oh, okay.
But there were 6.
It is.
Like a place for the mad and. But that's what this was. But Baba not just established it, but he had a whole plan of what it was supposed to be.
And he put the cornerstone in, and then nothing happened. It's like Baba built the scaffolding, and then it didn't evolve. It's what healing technology, holistic, spiritual kind of healing things that are all taken for granted. Everybody uses.
Yeah, and Ramakrishna had the vision of Baba, and he revived the Universal Spiritual Center. And that's what the picture of Baba, back during the 30s, when he traveled around the world in the ships. Okay?
How did he revive it? What do you mean?
Well, like I said, it had fallen into disuse. He had a vision of Baba wearing a rust-colored coat.
Yeah.
And then he began soliciting funds and began completing the structures that were uncompleted.
Is it in use?
I think it might be, yeah. Because I went there in 1989, like the 40th anniversary of it.
For
50th anniversary, yeah, MERS passed. So 40th, it was 50th anniversary of it, and they were already building the structures. They were completing the structures that Baba left. Baba completed like 3 structures. They're like the size of the Samadhi, and I think they had completed about 4 or 5 more. They were going to complete 12 altogether and put like a thing in the center.
Yes. Who Vivekananda saw? Who was it that saw it? You just said
Ramakrishna. Who was head of the Pune Center.
Oh.
He was head of the Pune Center. In fact, I stayed with him for like 2 weeks in the Pune Center. Got to know him really good. He was a true devotee of Baba. So now I have to put that picture up because that's Baba traveling the world in the 30s. So it's a wonderful picture. Okay, it's just a just to look at it. Once again, we have it because of photography. Okay. So 39, Universal Spiritual Center, the first jet came out then. First all-electric binary computer came out then.
What year?
39. Wow. This juncture. Like I said, a lot of information is being deleted. This is just taking bullet points. Using telegraphy. Fax came out in 39. And TV showcased at the New York World's Fair in 1939. That's when TV really started to come to the open. But remember, TV science goes back to 1894. Okay. So now we're going to move ahead to the new life, which Lois likes so much.
We love the new life!
New life! There's something I have.
October 16th!
Yeah. October 16th, 1949. Now what's the next juncture?
We're crazy for the new life here. You know that about us.
Oh, let me just put this picture up. Right quick. Because this happened during like during the Universal Spiritual Center time was the Blue Bus tours. So I just want to put that picture up there too. So the Blue Bus was kind of during the Universal Spiritual Center junction time. And Bob spent a lot of time in the Blue Bus, and they went all over the place, and just think, he's not going on horseback or walking on foot, he's going in a bus. Modern world, modern age. Okay? Just as spiritual as anything else that the previous avatars did, it's just modernized. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead, and we'll put this image up. This symbolizes the new life. Punch it up there. And that's the transistor. Okay. Transistor changed everything. Oh boy. I mean, cell phones and all the stuff we have and computers is because of this transistor. It came around 1949. Okay. Anyway, in 1949, around that time, sound barrier was broken.
Yeah, that's when I was born.
And you were born.
You heard me.
Oh, everybody heard you.
We heard you.
And now, this is the next generation of commercial aircraft. These are the really big planes that came out. They were used during World War II as bombers. And then when the war ended, they became commercial flights. And these are the kind of airplanes that Baba came to the West in 1952 with.
And back then, commercial aircraft had to have a registered nurse on board.
Right.
And I had a boss who had been one of those registered nurses on the 1940s aircraft.
Yeah, so this was a big deal. I mean, these were the huge bomber planes that were now being used for commercial aircraft. And those are the kind of planes that brought Bob over to the West, to America basically in the 50s, those type of airplanes. Okay, and I'll have a picture later of Bob coming up
Esther was saying, Esther, what were you saying?
I said my dad probably worked on those at that Lockheed during.
Good have.
Yeah.
Good have. Okay. The first prototype of commercial jet service, 49. For the cybernetics in the computer world, 45 came out then. 49. 40, remember 45 records?
Yeah, I
couldn't even remember.
49. The first self-developing photo that Polaroid introduced. 49. Cape Canaveral, where we have all the rocket launches. That's when it was established. 49. And on the eastern seaboard, TV was connected to Chicago in 1949.
Very good.
Okay. All right. We move on to this picture.
Can I just ask you, World War II,
Yeah.
when did that start again?
1939. That's when.
Okay.
That's when the German army rolled into Poland.
So we've got that on the major structures, okay.
Yeah, it's about 39. And then America entered around 42, and then
Ended at 45, right?
and it ended at 45. Yeah. Okay. So 52, I have a good picture of that. This would be perfect. Okay. I'll put this one up. This is a nice one. Okay. So, large propeller aircraft came out 52. Univac was the first commercial computer, came out 52. So basically the computer age, we all have computers now, computer age basically started in 1952. I mean the exact year 52 started at that year. And the TV industry really took off in 52. It had been suspended during World War II, so it blossomed again around 52. I mean, the actual year 52. And I just love that picture. It's a little girl watching TV. I just love that picture. Okay, that's around the 50s.
Now watch Walt Disney on Sundays.
Walt Disney, huh?
It's called the Sentinel.
Yeah, here's another, and I want to put this picture up too.
But you remember, we'd all have cartoons in the morning, and Walt Disney on Sunday at 7.
And boy movies in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Texaco
Yeah.
hour.
And in the Saturday afternoons, hop along cast.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I put these pictures up, because this is during the 50s, so once again, during the 50s, this is not about juncture, but during the 50s, and there's Baba in a convertible, the sun shining on his face, but once again, here's the avatar, and riding in an automobile.
In his invention.
A modern device. Okay? I just want to show how, that just shows that Bob was a part of all of this. Not only did all this stuff come in during his advent, but he took advantage of it too for his advent. I'm going to show one more picture. That's also of Baba, how he came here in the 50s. Now remember that picture that showed Baba on a ship? How he's coming here on a ship?
Yeah.
Just 20 years later, look how fast the technology moved. 20 years later, how did I get in the car? Okay. We're gonna go, I know what I did. So 20 years later, just 20 years later, that's how Baba came to the West again. So he first traveled on a steamship in the 30s, and by just 20 years, which is not that long a time period, 20 years, Baba came here on an airplane. Just 20 years later, he came on an airplane.
What is that?
That's probably... He always came into New York. Yeah, so even when the ships came and the planes came, he always landed in New York. Now, whether that's New York or maybe Wilmington, North Carolina, I don't know. I'll just assume it's New York. So by the 50s, when Baba returned to America, he went to Australia, he went on board an aircraft. Science and technology. That's why the subtitles is the scientific technology of Advent, because all this stuff was used during Baba's Advent.
Well, you know, one of the reasons we can travel along with you, too, is because the alphabet board was the design for the computer.
Absolutely.
You know, so we all feel that way. So it's like, yeah, we know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I just want to really emphasize that this kind of stuff, it really is spiritual. I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, most people here have been to India, right? You went to India. How'd you get there? You didn't walk. You took an airplane. You know? And if you want to see what's happening in Amartithi, it's streamed through the computer now. You know, you can call people in Amartithi, you can call people in India. So all this stuff from science technology we use in a spiritual way. It's a part of our life.
Hey, even for Amartithi now, you know, they have flat screen TVs everywhere and a thousands of dollars sound system.
Exactly. Time marches on.
And the system, remember they have a system with numbers and groups of up to 500 or from different cities or spiritual groups so that you don't have to wait in the queue for 8 hours. So that was a modernized thing too.
I'm just going to go back to this one. It's a nice picture.
And also Baba's Samadhi is what?
This was my birthday, so maybe that.
Yeah, but you know, Baba's Samadhi faces the Amartithi stage. It's like a tunnel to each other. It's like, you know, a column now.
So now we're at the east-west gathering juncture. And like I said, the point I want to make is that when this first came to me as revelation, these numbers never changed. They never changed I mean, just boom, they never changed. Yeah. So east-west gathering juncture, that's when jet travel came of age. You know, really, that's when it really kicked in, was around 62.
And soon after that was the Beatles.
64, the Beatles kicked in, okay?
Move over here.
And integrated circuits, and that's why we have personal computers right now.
What's it called?
Integrated circuit.
Oh yeah.
It's like putting a lot of information on a little chip. And that's the backbone of computers and cell phones. 62. Numerous computer languages were developed. Okay, like BASIC, things like that. Grace Hopper did a lot to give us computer languages. Grace Hopper.
What was it called? JOS, ROS,
All that stuff. But it came
DOS. It was DOS.
DOS,
Oh, jeez.
But basically, that started proliferating around this time. Okay? The first computer was used to calculate John Glenn's space ride on 62. And you think about it too, the astronauts going to space happened around this time. The Russians and Americans, it started in 61, 62, so right around this time is when the manned space program started too, 62. It all lines up. Okay? Polaroid's first instant color camera came out. Like right here, Soviet-American manned space exploration began right at this time. I mean, right at this time, exactly. And Mariner 2 sent pictures back from Venus in 1962. Okay.
Now, what's the dates that the Baba came to New York where the Western women, Narina, Nadine, that was 1952, but they were before that into Baba, but 52, that's when Adele and Phyllis May, 1952, met MeherBabaLibrary.
Yeah, correct. And he named it Philadelphia.
And we had them with us here.
Oops. Now we're at the last one, and like I said, we might not even get to the other stuff, okay? We'll just play it by ear. I think I'm going to wrap up here. But 1969, Baba dropped his body, and let me put this image up here, which is really, really, really nice. It would be a perfect image to accompany this, which would be right here. And
does anybody know what year it was that Remastering started giving the transmissions in New York?
42.
42?
And it went on for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And she would actually hear Baba's voice. Not that the only other person who could do that was Gomai, but they would actually hear Baba's voice who was dictating to them. Now, certain people didn't believe it. I think Don Stevens kind of like, he kind of poo-pooed it and didn't believe it. I totally believe it. I mean,
And
if you read it,
Baba confirmed it.
yeah, he confirmed it quite a bit. He confirmed it, you know. So maybe that's the kind of intuition we'll have when the intuition age kicks in, you know, we'll have...
When the what?
When the intuition age kicks in, maybe we'll be able, maybe not to hear the avatar's voice, but certainly we'll be able to feel his presence more and maybe communicate inwardly with him.
I think that's happening now.
It very well could be. And then the image I put up there was a telegram that went out when Baba dropped his body. That's a telegram that went out saying that beloved Baba dropped his body. So that's what
Can you read it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. No, I'll be my pleasure. It says, Avatar, I'm going to go over verses. Avatar Meher Baba dropped his physical body today, Friday, 1st January at noon at MeherBabaLibrary. 31st January at noon at MeherBabaLibrary to live eternally in the hearts of all his lovers everywhere. And then stop. Beloved Baba's body will be interned at MeherBabaLibrary Arangam site, February at 1 o'clock.
Is that February 7th?
It says February 1st, but that didn't happen.
No,
On the 7th,
February
that's correct.
7th was the 12th day
February 7th.
Oh yeah, I was there on the 7th,
Yeah,
but 12 years after.
I understand, yeah. So February 7th when he was returned, and his body didn't deteriorate at all. It just pretty much stayed fresh. But that was the original plan, was the 1st. But I guess through intuition from Baba, they realized, let's keep him on stage longer, you know, so he was actually... And what's interesting, synchronicity, is that during this period, from the 31st of January to the 7th of February 1969, for the first time in the history of pilgrimage to Mecca, it was flooded.
Flooded the God.
Flooded. First time in history, hadn't happened since. During that time period. So it all lines up. You know, it all lines up. It's amazing. So that's the telegram. I mean, that went out.
Yeah, thank you.
And 69, my pleasure. And 69, the big wide body jets came up at 747. That's when they came out, 69. It all just lines up, man. It's like after a while you say, oh my God, it's a pattern. It's more than just phenomena. It's like an avatar pattern. It's like his energy's going out at that time. And all this stuff happens.
He did that in America with the hippies and the whole love.
Absolutely.
And all the music that came out, the Stones,
absolutely.
Oscar Nelson, Aretha Franklin, you know.
Absolutely. That's why I said this goes beyond science. I believe, I'm not going to do research, but I believe if you start tracing it to other things too, like art and culture, you'll see the things around. I think what these are pulses. They're sending out like a major pulse. When the pulse goes out, all this stuff starts happening.
It's a good word, pulse.
It's a pulse.
Yeah.
It's a pulse. So the wide body jets came out in 69. The internet was inaugurated in 69.
Who was using it? The military or something?
Yeah, the military developed it. It's called ARPANET. They developed it. But the same technology that became the internet came out in 69. And what's interesting is when it became available to the public, the World Wide Web was 1989 when Mary dropped her body. Mary's tapped into Mary's tapped into synchronicity.
That's when the Berlin Wall went down.
Correct. Mary's tapped into. That's a whole other subject. I'm not even going to touch that subject. But the internet, we have the internet today, birthed at the time of dropping the body. Birth color photos of Earth, taken from a satellite. Okay, let me go to those images right now. The Earth. So I mean, Bob had always talked about how the Earth is one, and we're all connected.
Oh yeah, there's one in the subtle body, and the moon was an old Earth.
Yeah, so now at that time we actually have photos. Well, no, I won't go with that one. I'll wait. Okay, but the first couple photos of Earth were taken. Apollo 8 circled the moon at this juncture. We landed on the moon at 69, and the first worldwide satellite TV broadcast happened around this time. And Debbie, the first TV satellite broadcast was the Beatles singing "All You Need Is Love."
Yo, all you can love.
Now, the first Worldwide TV satellite broadcast, the Beatles.
Also Woodstock,
Woodstock was 69.
400,000.
Yeah, what's that, Brad?
69. See?
400,000.
Like I'm saying, this goes beyond science. It tapped into other areas too. You know, but Woodstock was 69. Woodstock was 69. Okay? You know what? Like I said, this could literally be a Ward Parks thing.
Yeah.
But let me
Thomas thing.
I want to know about this.
What is that?
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about that. Yeah, we got it here.
All right. I'll give you just the brief version of this, okay? So I'm well aware, you know, like time and timing and people's interest levels and things like that. I'm very aware of that. Because I mean, I've taught school so long, I can literally look at people's kids' eyes and just tell if they're with me or not. I can just tell. Okay?
Well, look at us kids.
I know.
We're still alert.
So let's do this. So I do want to end with my vision of where all this is going, and it has to do with the new humanity.
Yes.
Now, I do want to show images of that.
And I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you ask me right now? It never throws me off. I mean,
Go ahead, ask it, Lola.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't throw the
So considering all of this rocket crap going on right now, and Bob is still manifesting, do you think that this year could be another function at the juncture?
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Lois. Thank you for asking. But the point I want to really make is this: that something that's always to keep in mind is that Baba is no longer in the body. He's dropped his body. But remember, he always said, I'll be back in 700 years, which means that he's still functioning as the avatar for another 100 years after dropping his body. So we're still in avatar period.
Yes.
The avatar is still here. He's in a non-corporal state. But the avatar is still on the earth in a non-corporal state.
Well, and there's, 56 got realized on the planet, and there's 7,000 in the planes.
Five perfect masters.
Yeah, but the running of the universe hasn't been turned over to perfect masters yet. Bob is still running.
Yeah.
In a non-corporal state.
So could this year be a function at the juncture?
It very well.
Because it's such an intense.
Yeah, I literally could give a whole weekend seminar about what's going on in the world. Like I said, Bob has been my mentor. Not only did he teach me about this stuff, but he's been mentoring me on politics and religion and like lots of different subjects, But there's a lot going on in the world. I'm going to just leave my answer at that. There's a lot going on, and just leave it at that. Yeah.
You know what Bauji would say?
I'd leave it at that.
When everybody was afraid of the earthquake in California going down because they had one psychic dude, and Bauji said, if you intuitively feel it's time to leave, leave. But don't leave out of fear, eat ice cream.
He said live and die in LA. Eat ice cream.
Okay.
But I would add to that, and also have Freddie's chai.
Thank you for adding that collection.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, let's do this. Okay, I definitely want to end with the vision about where I think this is all going for the new humanity.
Yeah, go ahead.
But let's do it this way. Just give me feedback. I'll launch into this, and if I get a sense that it's time to stop, your brain's weary or numb, and okay, that's enough. Be quiet. I'll just wrap up and do the new humanity. Okay? So want me to just go forward?
I want to know about radio and x-rays.
Okay, let's do this. Let me go forward. I'll go forward, and I'll present this. And if you're with me, stay with me. If you feel like it's crazy, you want to leave, that's fine with me. But I'll just start presenting it. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is something different from this. It still uses the junctures. It's called the 3 special sciences, okay? And since we're going to launch into this, Freddie, thank you, we need to get the proper image for this. And we're going to begin with, let me do this first. It's a page from Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor is an amazing book. It has flaws, and there's mistakes and everything, but that is an amazing book. It really is. And all the photographs of Baba, it's just amazing. But what's interesting is that Brent, I'm mentioning you, Brent, he put a quote in the ad that went out for the talk here. And part of what I had said in my book was in this quote. So I said, well, let me go back and read the quote again. And I said, oh my God, because there was a whole big thing that I didn't put in there that is amazing. And I want to just emphasize that. I'm watching the court. Don't think I'm not watching this time. Okay, good. I just want to read this part.